On view now at LewAllen Galleries is an exhibition of paintings and watercolors by the renowned realist artist, Philip Pearlstein. Sometimes an artist who is celebrated as preeminent really is. Such is the case with Philip Pearlstein, who, beginning in the early 1960s, revolutionized the state of realism in American art, and is today recognized as one of contemporary art's most original and important realist painters. In this exhibition, entitled Resilience of the Real, LewAllen Galleries is proud to present 19 major paintings in oil and watercolor by Philip Pearlstein. These works span a period of 25 years and are examples of Pearlstein's long-held resolve to prompt viewers to reconsider their preconceptions about the human body, how it is seen, and how it is painted. These works also illustrate how, after more than 60 years, Pearlstein's work continues to excite and exalt through its resolute embrace of real-world objectivity in painting. At the end of the 1950s, American art was dominated by various forms of non-representational painting, including especially abstract expressionism. At that time, art that made use of the human figure was associated primarily with historical art movements, in which the figure was idealized or made to reference religious or allegorical subjects. In the early 1960s, Philip Pearlstein, then in his 30s, was one of the few who bucked the tide of these traditions and conventions. He became famous for breaking radically with the idealized tradition of figurative painting by putting onto canvas only what he really saw from his own direct experience, presenting the nude human body without regard for added beauty or a sense of the erotic. Combining his nude studio models with still life tableaus of antiques and folk art, Pearlstein led the revival of realism as a forward-thinking mode of contemporary art. His straightforward approach continues to be to paint the human form with what he calls optical truth. His approach reorients the eye of the viewer, allowing the human body to be perceived in this new and radical way, and as a dynamic phenomenon of shapes, diagonals, and volumes on canvas. Today, at age 96, he is widely considered one of the most important and innovative painters of contemporary realism. The celebrated New Yorker art critic Peter Sheldall labeled Pearlstein one of America's foremost artists, a figure of major influence and importance. His work is included in the permanent collections of more than 70 museums, including the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Whitney Museum, the Museum of Modern Art, and the Art Institute of Chicago, among others. Justin Ferrate, noted art writer and historian, joins us now to offer some thoughts on selected works in the exhibition.
Hello, and thank you for being with us as our tour now turns to consider the individual aspects of these works exemplify the masterful artistry of this talented artist. The first is Model with Butterfly Kite. As you look at this painting, the jaunty angle of the period office chair creates a sense of dynamic tension, while the negative spaces of the chair echo similar shapes in the colorful kite. Similarly, the forms in both the chair and the kite are referenced in the angular limbs of the model's torso. Pearlstein uses this feature to make the composition both sophisticated and visually satisfying. Next, let's turn to Two Models with Three Masks and Turkish Rugs. In this major work, there's an almost surreal, fantasy-like quality. Because of the animal mask, the models take on a different and inexplicable countenance. The languid poses of the figures seem to convey a sense of normalcy to what might otherwise seem curious and strange. The hovering zebra mask conveys the surrealistic sensibility of a Magritte image. Strong lighting creates the rippling effect of dramatic shadows, adding further mystery. While there seems to be an implied narrative here, the tale is not told. Now let's look at Navajo Basket with Cast Iron Bed. This alluring painting resonates with Pearlstein's experience of working in New Mexico in the mid-1990s. The artist's emphasis is on the mutual relationships. The figure, the ornate cast iron bed, the colorful Navajo blanket, and the patterned basket are all of equal importance. The shapes are echoed throughout the work, even in its almost cubist approach in rendering the figure. This painting demonstrates an important aspect of Pearlstein's work, the use of intense light to create dramatic shadows. These shadows reflect the rhythmic patterns of the work as they play across the figure, providing a unique sense of energy and drama. Next, we will consider Nude in Santa Fe with Self-Portrait. While working in New Mexico, Pearlstein masterfully created this exquisite watercolor painting, which atypically includes a self-portrait. Pearlstein is particularly adept with his use of watercolor, utilizing its nuances to create both bold and subtle coloration. This painting incorporates the mirror, an artistic device that can be seen in works by the Spanish and Dutch masters. The mirror duplicates and reflects the imagery, while at the same time it does something unusual. It allows the painter to be included in the painting. The rich panoply of patterns, from the colorful blanket to the parrot sculpture and the ornate gilded mirror frame, all activate the setting and provide a strong resonance for this unusual and important work.
I hope this has given you an idea of the rich complexity and sheer beauty that comes from Pearlstein's unique aesthetic of honesty that shines through all of his work. Thank you for being with us today for this tour of Resilience of the Real, LewAllen Gallery's important exhibition of some of Philip Pearlstein's finest works.